create reality. You know, there are a lot of people out there who are offended by that idea. They're offended by the idea that we create our reality. They see this as a version of victim blaming. Nobody asks for bad things to happen to them. I couldn't agree more. But as someone who has been helping people change their thinking and their behavior for decades, I can also say that I couldn't agree more with the idea that we do create our reality. Denying this denies your power. There are three buckets in life. There are things we control, things we influence, and things over which we have no control. So what is not under our control are the many random events of life. The families we're born into, earthquakes, pandemics, illness, job layoffs, death, fire, car accidents. Those are just a few. These are circumstances that we experience and events that we are aware of. We influence other living things with our actions. If you walk into a room, see a stranger sitting there, and decide to slap them in the face, that person will surely respond differently than if you walked up to them and smiled. But you don't just determine how that person responds. You don't get to determine that. The person could decide to run away, they could turn the other cheek, or they could slap you back. What we control and where we really start to create our own reality is in how we perceive or interpret or think about the events in our life that generate our feelings about those events, and how we subsequently respond with our behavior. No one can choose your thoughts or actions. Those are yours alone. If your boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with you and your thought is, I will never find anyone else to love me again, then you will likely experience some very negative emotions like depression. And you are likely to engage in behaviors consistent with these feelings, such as staying in bed. On the other hand, if your thought is, I'm glad this loser is out of my life, then you're likely to feel and act quite differently. You choose which to think. Now, here is where the creating part gets serious. Your thoughts, if you think them over and over and assign truth to them, become your beliefs. And beliefs create a cognitive lens through which you interpret the events of your world, and this lens serves as a selective filter through which you sift the environment. You sift it for evidence that matches up to what you believe to be true. For example, if the belief you form when your partner breaks up with you is, I'm not attractive enough, and then you go to a party where 10 people tell you you look great, and one person says your outfit is interesting, you are likely to go home and fixate on the interesting comment. You might think other thoughts consistent with your beliefs, such as, why do I always pick the wrong thing to wear? I have no style. Other people dress better than me. I must look like such a loser. No wonder my ex dumped me. The other 10 people who said you look great might as well have not existed for you. You only took in the evidence from the environment that was consistent with your belief, which then reinforced your original belief that you're not attractive enough. Because of the brain's selective filtering system, and we often refer to that as priming, it works on activation, inhibition. That's the model it works on. So when the brain is primed by a certain belief to look for something, it shuts down competing neural networks. So you actually have a hard time seeing evidence to the contrary of the belief that you already believe. That's why people who are depressed see a more depressing world. It's also why you are so convinced that your view of the world is the truth. What most people don't realize is they're participating in creating their own version of the truth. What you take from the environment through your belief filter becomes your self-concept. Your self-concept is made up of I am beliefs about who you are presently, and I can beliefs about who you're capable of being in the future. From these I am and I can statements, you create stories and narratives about who you are that tell yourself and other people all day long, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I can't do it. I am smart. I am capable. I can't achieve my goals. You are the main character in your story, and you write the script based on your self-concept that is largely self-created. You write the story of what you think is likely and possible based on what you believe is true, and then you take actions consistent with those expectations. When you act on what you expect will happen before it actually does, you're participating in creating the experience. For example, if you don't have a positive self-concept and you fear rejection when you go on a date or a job interview, then you're not likely to present your best self by acting calm and self-confident. You are likely to be anxious and act in a way that is more likely to result in rejection. Hence the self-fulfilling prophecy. We act in ways that bring about what we believe is true. That is the very definition of creating our reality. You are participating in creating your reality whether you know it or not. You are doing it whether you believe it or not. There is nothing magical about it. There is nothing woohoo about it. It's simply the way our brains operate. When you deny or you reject or you're unaware of this, then you have very little power and you will always feel like you are a victim to your life. But with awareness, my friends, comes choice. When you start to understand this process and make it work for you, you're now empowered. That's our favorite word. You're empowered to be in charge of the life that you create. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to join our Facebook community. It's really a family, like-minded people on our path of awakening, helping, supporting each other. It's facebook.com/groups/students of self-empowerment. We'd love to have you. Come take a look. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Go out and enjoy yourself. It's a beautiful day. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Doesn't matter what the weather is. I know it's beautiful because we're alive and we're well and we're above ground for one more day of this amazing life. So enjoy it, and I'll see you tomorrow.